Hello, internet passers-by. Welcome back to Napcast. As always, I am Roman Notorious, and joining me once again today is Sean.
Hello.
And Melina.
What is up, spooky parties?
Spooky parties.
Spooky parties.
You remember to get seasonal.
Yeah, no, I did. I thought I'd throw in a little bit of, pumpkin spice.
Yeah.
I hate it here.
Pumpkin parties.
Pumpkin parties is so much better.
Yeah.
Oh.
Next time.
So,
Get ready for that.
on today's episode, we're doing what we did last year with Halloween. Not that we're doing 4 episodes in the month. That's
God, no.
too exhausting.
Yeah.
And we ran out of ideas.
Don't say that.
Shut up.
No, it's just time constraint.
We're just doing, Halloween themed stuff. You've probably heard the creepypastas, atmospheric stories, whatever the fuck you want to call them, already.
From last year?
No, from this year.
Okay.
This is our sort of Halloween special where we're going to talk about a couple of horror movies, kind of like we did last year, mainly what we do over on Anime Lane. Today we're going to be talking about the classic, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, released in 1978, I think.
No, 1974.
4. Okay. Oh yeah, the year after The Exorcist. That's right.
Yeah.
And then the 1992 Bram Stoker's. Yeah, for some reason it was just not coming out of my mouth properly.
That's fair. I mean, Stoker
mouthful.
is...
Yeah, Bram Stoker's Dracula, directed by Francis Ford Coppola.
Is it Coppola or Coppola?
I don't know. Everyone pronounces it differently.
Gapagola.
Everybody pronounces it differently.
Sorry to every Italian listening to this, including Manuel.
I don't know.
And no apologies to Coppola himself, because...
What the fuck?
Yeah. So I think we all watched
Texas
Chainsaw Massacre first.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll just start there. The kind of format we have on Anime Lane is that we talk about the movies a little bit, then we score them, and then we move on to the next one, score them, etc.
In case you don't listen to Anime Lane.
In case you don't listen to Anime Lane, and if you listen to last year's, the format kind of evolved over the last season or so. So yeah, where do we start?
I can't believe they massacred all those chainsaws in Texas.
Oh my god, yeah.
I had to make that joke, I'm sorry.
So I think to preface, if people don't know or don't remember, Sean and I don't watch horror.
Yeah.
We're very much the non-horror people.
Oh, it's labeled horror? No, thank you.
Which
I dabble
made
occasionally, but
getting any choices for this an absolute pain in the ass.
Yeah, because you really like horror.
I
and you
really
know a
like
lot of
horror,
it.
and
Yeah.
there's some that I think are great to talk about on just a fundamental movie level.
Yeah.
To give some behind-the-scenes look, you originally suggested Exorcist, but
I
we pushed
really
out.
want to cover The Exorcist, and
Have a
that got
episode.
flat out rejected.
I'll give Manuel. Maybe he wants to do it.
I'm
yeah.
probably more open to it at this point.
Yeah,
not.
you still said no.
I know.
And
Watching
Melina
Texas
said no
Chainsaw.
because of your religious upbringing. The most bullshit.
Yeah,
no,
bullshit.
it's just like exorcism and like
Demon.
demons taking over bodies. It's just something that gives me the EBGBs a bit too much.
The Hebes.
The Hebes.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I didn't mind Texas men.
Texas man.
I said Texas man.
The cousin of Florida man.
I mean, if you think about
kind of. Yeah, next door neighbors at very least, kind of.
it, close enough.
Close enough.
With some Georgias in between.
Yeah, nobody cares about
nobody
Georgia.
cares.
So yeah. We eventually landed on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which was not even my suggestion. I don't think. I think
Was
someone
it
else.
mine?
Yeah, someone suggested it.
I
And
think it was
Melina went,
me.
"Oh yeah," and I was like, "I'm sorry. What the fuck?"
Well, to be fair, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one I was sort of interested in
Yeah.
because I can do better with sort of older
Yeah.
horror. Again, I still have rejected Exorcist, and I'm sorry.
Yeah. I just found it funny that you both flat out rejected The Exorcist and then were like immediately like
Texas Chainsaw.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the one that came out the year after, and totally just like redefined
Slasher.
horror and slasher, made the slasher genre pretty much. So I was like, I guess.
I don't understand you people.
Yeah.
There's just certain things that creep me out too much, and I'm like, oh, guy with a chainsaw, I'm good. That's
Yeah, the
fine.
one with more realistic weight to it. You're
Yeah,
like, yeah,
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Look, if you ask me for next year's movies, I might just say yes to Exorcist and
Okay.
we'll outvote Melina.
I'm a little sad we didn't get to do The Exorcist. Granted, it got delayed, but the 4K version's out soon. It was initially meant to be out in time for us recording this, and then it got delayed a week. So
So it was meant to be.
meant to be in the end, yeah.
Next year.
Next year. So yeah, we're not even talking about the movie yet.
No,
No.
Texas Chainsaw.
So yeah,
Texas Chainsaw.
what I knew about it was that people considered it a very slow-paced movie.
Yes. Yeah.
Which, when watching it, I didn't notice until the third act.
I think it's slow is an interesting way to describe pacing in a movie. I think people have a lot of negative connotations to it, and I'm kind of casting back to actually our first episode of Anime Lane where we talked about Ghost in the Shell. I think it's more of like a steady pace.
I think it's perfectly placed.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Ghost in the Shell is deliberately paced in a certain way, and Texas Chainsaw is steadily paced. It
Yes.
ramps
Yeah.
everything up slowly.
Slow isn't the best word
No.
to describe it.
I still think the third act, it's either just too long or it goes up and down too many times.
Yeah, that's when it really becomes the roller coaster.
And you're
which
just
I think
kinda
it
like,
works well, but I can
yeah.
understand.
But for me, it loses the momentum it's been building up to. You lose it. And
Yeah.
you get it and you lose it, but you'll never get to that initial peak you got after the second act, because that's how it naturally progresses.
yeah.
I think the big problem is her sort of escape through the forest and then getting to the gas station. And once she's captured, I think there's too much of a gap in the pacing
Yeah.
for when everything ramps back up again in her escape, to the point that I was
Yeah.
kind of a little bit distracted before we got to the iconic escape
Dinner scene,
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
the dinner scene, and then the escape where she gets in the back of the truck and you have the iconic bit of Leatherface, waving the chainsaw and stuff. Yeah, I liked the movie overall though.
Yeah, I was surprised how much I
Yeah.
liked it, and qualitatively, I thought it was really good, because I know, at least from what I know and have heard, horror can just be bad, but the scary elements are good. The actors
Yeah.
are shit. You don't know any of them. The storytelling, but the scary parts are done very well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And here, I'd say a lot of the basic elements were done really well.
Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah.
I'd say there's only really one, I think, moment where I thought the acting kind of
I had a few
little
as
bit.
well.
Yeah.
But overall, having seen a lot of horror, having seen a lot of tense but shittily acted horror, it's definitely on the good side of everything.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because what I'll say about the main actress that gets captured all the way in the end, I think the scared part she does really well, but her delivering lines
yeah.
is not great.
I think that's maybe why she's not really a forefront thing
No,
until
exactly.
Yeah.
the second act, when she goes looking for
exactly, 'cause
everyone else.
Yeah.
Throughout the movie, I was like, oh, she's really bad. Why is she one of the main characters? And then when she gets the screaming, the crying, the
Yeah.
hysterics, I'm like, you do that well.
Yeah,
Fair
yeah,
enough. Because I was talking
You're a
to
good-
Manuel about it, and I was like, I wish they switched the two girls because she's so much better. But then at the end, I'm like, no, it's fine.
Nah.
Yeah.
You're fine.
She's a good victim girl, but
Yeah.
as an actual character, yeah.
I'd say both of the principal girl characters aren't well portrayed by their actresses
Yeah.
until the screaming parts.
Yeah.
I'd say that the horoscope one is a little awkward in her delivery sometimes, and the way she
Yeah.
kind of just cuts in to stuff. And
Yeah.
It's oh, okay.
It's very much, this is what the script says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not let it flow nicely, but it's say.
Someone's finished the line.
Hey, it's my turn.
it makes her seem like that in the universe she's just socially dumb.
Yeah.
Like, she's
Yeah,
not supposed
exactly.
to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the horoscope bit, I think it should have been a bit more developed, because I think me and Sean, we talked
Yeah,
about it on the way
it's-
here, but they mention it.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is going to be a callback
It's
to it later.
foreshadowing. Yeah.
But no.
No.
That's
like-
just left it at that. Horoscopes are dumb.
Yeah.
I brought up
Oh.
when we were talking about this just a bit earlier that it feels like they forgot to really give her definable personality, so they
Yeah.
threw that in a late addition to the script.
kind of a horror movie thing in general, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
They're focused on the scares.
Yeah, because really most of them die quite early on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and earlier enough that I still can't even remember most of their names.
Yeah.
We have Kirk, who dies first.
Yeah, he dies
do
at
have
32 minutes in.
Yeah, and then whoever the other girl.
The girl dies 2 minutes later, I think.
No, she's on that floor for 5 minutes just screaming and looking
Oh,
around.
yeah.
That drags too long.
Like she goes into like the bone room and she's like, I gotta take all this in.
Yeah.
You really suck in the horror instead of being like,
chicken.
no, bitch, run.
You should run.
There is a lot of like it does spend a lot of time going around that room and like
Yeah.
kind of cutaway style
And cut
type
back.
things. Yeah.
Look at all this fucked up shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they make a point of it in the subtitles because even I always just have subtitles on just in case. Like
I'm gonna be
music
honest.
builds to crescendos. Like I can hear that.
Yeah.
I will say that this movie, I was surprised I actually did end up putting on the subtitles for most of it.
I can kind of understand that. I
Yeah.
think I managed to get through it without them, though I was mainly avoiding turning them on because I think a friend of mine, I had talked about the like release with them because I'd never heard of the publisher Second Sight. So I was like, what's the quality here? I was like,
Yeah.
because I have no bar for comparison when it comes to them. Like, it's the best presentation of the film ever. Film looks fantastic in the new restoration. 4K disc looks great. Subtitles are shit though. I was like, oh okay. I think there's sometimes where they're not like accurate to what they're saying.
Yeah, I did
Oh,
notice
maybe,
that because
yeah.
there were parts, I took note of this when I was watching it with subtitles, that like they're clearly saying something, but the subtitles aren't displaying anything, so
Yeah.
it gets lost in that. It's usually stuff that you just sort of mumbling anyway,
it's
but
like,
Which kind of
there's people talking all over people, which is kind of why you put on subtitles.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, they're not the best,
I kind of thought that.
but I still had to sort of put them on because if I
Yeah.
didn't, I couldn't understand what everyone was saying because
Yeah.
the sound mixing, it's not bad, but like,
Yeah.
it's very garbled.
I would say between the mono and 7.1 mix that's on the UHD, there's really no like bump in the
Okay.
dialogue quality.
Okay.
Probably because they are taking it from a mono source, so the point of doing
Yeah.
a 7.1 mix is kind of lost.
Yeah,
There's not much you're really able to do with that. But yeah, no, I get that. I think it adds something to it, but I don't know if that's like, I've seen a lot of horror, so there's something about something being a little scuffed in
Yeah,
the presentation that
Yeah.
adds to a horror. Like we were
It
talking about in
humanizes
Anime
them.
Lane, it's
Yeah.
like everything's too clean nowadays.
Yeah.
So a bit of wonky mixing or garbled dialogue can kind of add something.
Yeah, especially in like this film, because I feel like that sort of wonkiness and sort of dirt to it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think there's a grittiness or like a griminess.
Yeah,
to it.
yeah.
It's like rough around the edges.
Yeah,
you know?
which-
Like it's polished, but it's still a bit rough.
Yeah.
Works a lot for like the tone of the film and like what's
Absolutely,
going for.
yeah.
I think shooting on 16mm, which probably was more a budgetary thing.
Yeah, because this was very low budget at the time.
Yeah.
Definitely played into its favor. Like that layer of grain that's there just absolutely kind of makes part of the movie as tense and as
Yeah.
scary as it is.
You can like sort of imagine yourself watching this like an actual like projector
Yeah.
and stuff.
I want to talk about how Franklin is just a poor fucking guy.
Yeah.
Franklin
We
is my
start-
boy.
He's
We
the best
start
bro.
off,
Yeah.
he's just trying to piss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just gets knocked down,
I was-
rolls fully down a
Yeah.
hill.
As soon as I seen Franklin roll out of that van in the wheelchair, I was like, oh
My guy.
God.
Yeah, I was a little scared. that
I
they were
had
gonna
some
portray
Yeah.
him.
hesitancy about his portrayal, yeah.
Yeah.
No, exactly. I
'cause,
was like,
like,
he's
the-
gonna die first.
And
That's
like the
Yeah.
first
narration
thought.
describes him as a
Invalid.
which
Yeah.
which is a term that isn't used anymore,
No.
obviously. But the way I sort of like took that, I was like, oh, so he's like mental,
Yeah.
I should say as
Yeah.
well, or
But he's like, he's
fine.
just a guy.
He's just a
just
guy in
a-
a wheelchair.
yeah.
Like fuck you, narrator.
He is the best character in the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
by
I
far.
agree, yeah.
He got done dirty.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And I think it comes down to, maybe it's a thing in the 70s still. It's, people that are disabled are considered a burden.
Yeah.
and like we do get that in one of the dialogue scenes because again, I caught this by watching like the subtitles. When two of the friends, it's like a horoscope girl and the guy she's with, they're sort of talking, and I again, it's because the subtitles sort of miss out some things,
Yeah.
but it's like at one point the guy says, "Just shoot him and put him out of his misery."
I
or
think,
something.
yeah, I think I did catch
And
that.
I was like, "This fucking arsehole."
Yeah. Yeah.
I was glad he died.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
And it's just, it seems like very casual negligence of like what he can and can't do.
Yeah.
Because they went into the old house and
we
you know
have that
everyone
scene.
was upstairs and
Yeah.
he's just sitting there like,
yeah. They're all having fun up there.
yeah. And I think it's a nice way to showcase he's kind of like the outsider in the group, but I wish they just explored that a bit more.
Yeah.
I also think it mismatches with how we see them interacting in the van as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Because there's a big build up to them getting to the house.
Yeah.
Where we see them in the van. They're kind of, you know, all laughing, having a good time. Obviously, they bring in a crazy guy and it gets a bit weird.
Yeah.
But
We'll get there.
generally, there's no indication that they have any resentment towards him, any sort of sense of that he's a burden, or any sort of sense that,
they
you know,
seem like actual friends.
yeah. And then suddenly we're in the house and it's like they just kind of either forget about him or say stuff like that, and it's like,
Fuck them.
okay, this
Never
is
liked
an
I mean, I didn't really think so necessarily in the van. To me, the dynamic seemed to very much be like, oh, you know, he's the brother of our friend.
Yeah.
We get along fine-ish, but if I had a choice, he wouldn't be my friend.
Yeah.
I would have left him behind.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
but I
I'm
wouldn't
only
say it's
friends 'cause I know him.
necessarily as
It's not overly evident.
no, I wouldn't say it's as directly like evil
No,
as
no,
it is.
no, no, no,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
Malicious, that's the word I was looking
Yeah.
for. As when they reach the house.
Yeah,
like,
that
I think
is.
it takes a different step there that
At that point, they just become arseholes.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Also, that house is not like inhabitable.
No. No.
We don't get any explanation of like how it got to that state
No.
because like they talk about, or the sister does anyway, that they used to stay there and stuff, but they don't elaborate on what happened to the grandparents. I assume they died. but-
That's my assumption as
Yeah.
well. They
But-
mention the graveyard and stuff like that because I think when they park up and are talking to like some
sheriff.
older guys, not the sheriff, but like, oh no, is it the sheriff?
I mean, there's some older guys that then direct them to talk to a sheriff, I think.
Right. Because I know that she's like, oh, do you know where my grandpa? I think she said buried.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I assume they're talking about the graveyard, which gets mentioned at the beginning of the movie as being like ransacked.
Yeah,
and
I
it
mean-
only comes up at the very end that it's the guy we meet at the start
Yeah.
is doing it, and I'm like, wow, you set that up as a whole big thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I mean, the film starts out like the first shot of the movie is like the
corpse in the graveyard,
just
yeah.
sort of made up like that with the news report going on,
Yeah.
reporting about it. So, and that doesn't really come up again.
No, it sets a tone and then doesn't do anything with that, I think.
It goes. It just sort of headed straight into the cannibal aspect instead of the grave
Yeah.
robbing fucked up.
To be
art
fair,
thing.
it does. It's sort of like in a diegetic sense where we then
Yeah.
realize, oh, this is what they're listening to on the radio. Which again,
yeah.
no one addresses the fact that that's on the radio.
No.
No,
Um,
it's just Texas, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah. Also very Texan, just be like, oh, just pick up the hitchhiker.
Yeah.
And I feel like as soon as they kind of talk to him, I would have been like, actually, I think
Never
we're
mind.
gonna go the other way if you want to get
Yeah.
out.
as soon as they seen the like, you know, blood,
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it
Yeah.
was like a port wine stain, like a birthmark in the
it
beginning,
looked
or
a bit
blood.
too like.
I would have called it blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah, but I was like, there was enough for me to be like, I'm not 100% sure because it just could just be, you know, early 70s special effects
Yeah,
makeup. They
yeah,
couldn't really
yeah.
get the volume of it or something.
That's
so
a
I was
good
like,
point. Yeah.
yeah,
So I just looked at it, I was like, you're just a bit of an odd fella.
He's just a
Yeah.
quirky little guy.
you're just a quirky little guy.
That wasn't until he then cuts himself in the hand.
Yeah, the moment he takes the
Yeah.
knife, you should be concerned. And then when, you know, he starts cutting himself, at that
Yeah.
point you should be like, okay, get the fuck out the van.
They wait until he lights the fucking picture on fire though to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
like-
that's the part where they're
Yeah.
like, oh my god, he's insane. Like,
I mean,
no, dude.
Does he stab Franklin before the picture burns? Yeah, right. No,
No,
after.
he cuts it. He cuts Franklin after, and they're like trying to open the door to get him out.
Yeah, like,
Oh.
he takes the picture. Everyone's like, you can't just, that's a bit weird.
Yeah.
And then he gets like sort of offended. Then he burns it and then he cuts Franklin.
Yeah, I totally thought he was pulling out like, I'm just gonna like do some crack cocaine or something.
Honestly,
like that.
Yeah, same.
With the whole sort of weird hippie vibe that they've all got like sort of going on, I would have expected that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I seen like the cling foil, not
Some
the
good
cling
old-
foil, like
Good old hemp.
yeah, like tin foil, and I was like,
Oh no.
is he just gonna start doing some drugs? Like that's. I know this whole situation's weird, but that's like a non sequitur.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
There's not even any sort of logic behind
No,
that one.
no.
There's not even a. You guys mind if I?
Yeah.
crack.
Anyone up? I'll share. I'll share.
One of them probably would have said yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 70s, am I right?
Yeah.
But he was a very weird character to introduce, and
He never comes up again until the end either.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
But
He's still on his way throughout most of the movie to the house again.
they make an emphasis on showing you his teeth.
Yeah.
And then when we finally meet Leatherface, we have a shot where it's zoomed in on his teeth,
He's
which
sitting
made
in
me
the-
believe it was him.
I get that. I get that.
Yeah,
Because, you know, they were just messed up teeth. I wasn't sure if it was like, is it the same structure? I wouldn't know, but there's a reason they would zoom in on it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when I expect a movie to terrify me, I just go into over analysis
Yeah,
mode.
yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
okay,
for everything.
let's have a moment and look at the shot. What is it telling us?
I do it with a lot of movies, but especially with horror, I go into like detective mode, just
Same.
like
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
searching for any sort of connection to anything whatsoever.
Yeah, just to be like, I'm not invested. I'm analyzing.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that though, because I had like the same thing happen with a different character that popped up early on. It's when they first end up at like the gas station, and like you have like the main like head guy at like the gas station.
Yeah.
Later find out is like the head of like the cannibal family, but like there's another guy there.
Oh, the guy that washes the windshield.
Yeah, the windshield guy. Like, there's a
Best
zoom up on
character.
him. I thought he was like Leatherface, and it's never revealed that he isn't. But obviously, it's never confirmed either.
Yeah.
He was
would,
very small, wasn't
Yeah, I wouldn't say the builds match up. Because Leatherface not
mean,
only is
same
tall,
with, like,
but he's
the-
bulky.
he? Oh, yeah.
But like, I mean, the guy in like the van is very skinny as well. and
Yeah.
Leatherface isn't. So
Exactly. That's what made me think. I was like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I asked my mom, I was like, is he? Is he?
like Leatherface is a big.
He's
Yeah.
a big boy.
Yeah.
I also, I might be remembering wrong, but I think there's times where you can sort of see his hair kind of coming out of
Yeah.
the mask, and I think it's like dark
I
hair.
think so.
And
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure the guy is like kind of gingerish color at the gas station.
Yeah.
Um,
It's just. I've thought about it again when it was zoomed up on that shot of like his face,
Yeah.
and you can see his
Yeah.
little mask. It looks sort of similar to me, so that's what made me think that.
yeah.
But
Yeah, I had as soon as I saw barbecue in that gas station, I was like, oh, something's up. Oh, something's up. That's sketchy as hell.
that's a torso.
No, like, legit. It's like, small town gas station selling barbecue. I know this is Texas, but ooh.
Yeah.
Something's up.
You don't have gas,
Sauce.
but you have barbecue? Mm,
Sus.
sus.
It's like, well, first of all, I don't think you're following all the health codes.
Yeah, this isn't OSHA compliant.
Yeah.
That's how the movie goes. Is, we are surprise visited.
Everything happens normal, but right at the end, the building gets closed down because OSHA guys come in.
yeah.
It's like, so where'd you?
That's what
what's,
gets 'em.
Where do you get the meat? Which butcher do you go to?
No, it's all home. It's all homemade.
Homemade. It's, I have a farm. And this is rump. What is that?
You go buy now. Bonk.
Bonk.
I love that. It's gonna sound a minute. I love that Leatherface kills him by bonking them.
Yeah, it's very like efficient.
Yeah.
Like
I
as
mean,
soon as you
yeah.
see him, he just clocks him on the head. He goes down and he is like writhing.
I don't like the right thing.
No,
that was the worst part
yeah.
for me.
I mean, it's a direct callback to the beginning.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
the animals, because the whole there's a big theme I think with this movie about like meat,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
how we kill animals. There's the whole thing about the cannibal family is that they're treating people like processed
Yeah.
animals and that whole thing. So
Yeah.
it's obviously meant to evoke that.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Because there
Which
is a
the
lot
point,
of, like,
I know,
Yeah.
but
there's a lot of animal skulls and stuff
Yeah.
in that room and up and display and stuff. So yeah, it's there is like an overriding theme of that there.
yeah, like the biggest scare I got from this movie, which wasn't a lot, and even it wasn't like the scariest thing ever, but it's the icebox part. With, like, the
Oh,
girl
where she
in it.
like wakes up.
Yeah, and almost like a zombie, like sort of like
Mm.
wriggles out and then just sort of collapses again.
Yeah.
That's the freakiest part of the movie for me.
Meat hook.
Oh, me.
Oh yeah, where she gets put in the meat hook.
Can't do it.
That's a close second.
No,
I
can't-
think that would have been worse if it had a sound effect attached to it.
Yeah.
No, exactly. That's I just looked away thinking I would hear it, and when I
Yeah.
didn't hear it, I was like, really? Come on.
I remember checking between both mixes on the disc just to be like, did they?
They
No,
should've.
okay, there's
Come
just
on.
nothing.
Because that's the part that I hate about it.
Yeah,
Well,
there's
'cause
nothing.
that you can't hear it, and that I'm so used to seeing it because it's something that happens. It
Yeah,
felt so-
yeah.
It's a disconnect, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, why not? Come on, that's the part that grosses me out.
Yeah.
They
Come
also
on.
cut around it as well.
Oh, absolutely,
So,
yeah.
I think that's what helps, like, it's very effective, because, like, despite the title, it's not very gory.
It's really not.
No.
No,
It's very tame compared to what you think.
They cut
Definitely.
around a lot of stuff in
Yeah.
the film, or like have a cutaway to
Yeah.
something. Like I think on occasion there's maybe like a cutaway, like an animal or something like that.
Yeah.
Like
Which again, probably for budget reasons.
Yeah.
Like during the meat hook scene as well, like you, I forget the other guy's name, not Kirk, the not Kirk guy, Jason. I don't know, but like you can see his body on like the table, and
Yeah.
like Leatherface goes to like I guess cut his head off or something.
Yeah.
You don't see that happen.
No,
obviously.
yeah.
It's very much just out of frame, so your mind does the rest.
Yeah, I think that's what makes it like a really effective film as well, is that it's leaving a lot up to imagination.
Yeah.
And like the way it's all constructed is that there's no room for your brain to not
Yeah.
think of it.
Like the first kill that happens is Leatherface like appears out of the hall, bonks him,
Love
and
the
then
way it's
pulls-
framed as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Beautifully done.
But pulls him in and then he just sort of efficiently slams the
That
shot.
part is actually the part that like
Freaked you
got
out.
me a little bit,
Yeah.
because the sound just comes up
Oh yeah.
and then he slams that door and I was like, oh fucking hell.
Yeah.
And there's something about it being just like this big sheet of like metal. I
Yeah,
was
it's
like,
very butcher shops,
Yeah.
industrial slaughterhouse.
Oh, she loves it.
Oh, she loves it. Yeah,
It's a good separation.
teens hate
line.
it. Oh, she loves it.
Perfectly sanitized killing room. Teens hate it. Oh, she loves it.
Butchers hate him. Find out how he got fresh meat.
Oh god.
Click here.
But yeah, I think like a lot of the shots in this movie, I think were just done really nicely in a way where they played with light
Yeah.
really nice. Because I think it's a very common like complaint people have with newer horrors that everything's overlit. You see everything.
Yes.
And the way they kind of use shadows on people's faces and in the backgrounds, it's done really well.
I think this comes from the fact that a lot of it's hard to not just classic horror, because there's like a distinction there, but this sort of like period of horror between the late or mid to late 70s and 80s up to the kind of end of the 90s,
Late 20th century.
yeah, it's all sort of low budget, so there's no like fancy lighting or anything. It's all very natural, and I
It's
think
very on the
that-
ground.
yeah,
Sort of organic.
yeah, so I think that lends it a lot of weight, whereas
Oh,
now
for sure.
it's like studio lighting.
You have for your 3-point lighting.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't want that. I
this-
want one guy.
You can
with,
tell the
like a very
scene-
shitty light.
Yeah, you can
That's what I
tell
want.
that the scene has been blocked before the actors have even shown
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Whereas now, then in like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's like they found a room and went, walk in there, that looks fucking sick.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's what I miss in film nowadays.
Yeah.
Just kind of showing up, messing around.
Yeah.
Like I know it's not very efficient.
No,
But you can tell when a project is like, okay, we haven't scouted anything. This is the building. We need these things to happen. Okay, we'll start over there.
I
yeah,
think the last horror movie or big horror movie I think that really did that was Blair Witch.
yeah.
That
But
sort of
even then, that
style.
wasn't big. That was
No,
like
that was independent.
$16,000 budget or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was again independent film.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's also where like a lot of the cutaways come from, is that they were
Probably,
probably
yeah.
just driving around for the locations and like seen roadkill and were like, oh, let's get a shot of that.
Yeah,
Or
Yeah, probably.
they seen the kind of bird's nest, I think, with the snake in it or something in the house, and we're
There was
like,
a
oh
sort of
fuck, let's get a
rattlesnake
shot of that.
sound,
Yeah. So I think that's where like a lot of the
The charm.
I think unsettlingness of some of the cutaways come from, is that they're just
Real.
real things that were
Yeah.
there, and
Yeah.
you're just like,
Let's get
Yeah,
got a close up of that one.
Fucking Jack Black and like King Kong. Sort of. Let me get that.
No, you can just feel, when a project is like something people work very hard on for a very short amount of time and are just like, this is the best experience I ever had.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah.
much fun doing this. They're like, the hours were horrible. We were exhausted, but it was
But
amazing.
I do it again.
I
Kill my voice to scream that much again.
I can feel the like heat exhaustion that they
Oh,
must have been
yeah.
going
Absolutely.
throughout there.
I feel for the poor girl having to run
Yeah.
and run
Yeah.
and run. I had a 2-day shoot where I had to run for the first full day of it. I hated it. I hated it. I was exhausted by the time we got to the second day, and I was like, I'm never doing this again. This is horrible. First of all, I'm out of shape. Second, I wrote it as still. I was like, I'll do it. I'll do it. I was like, I'm in shape. I can't
well. That isn't the consequences of my own actions.
You only have yourself to blame.
Exactly.
Which makes it worse.
But I surprisingly liked it a lot. I didn't think I would like it as much as I did.
I think it's way more like classic horror than I was expecting.
Your mic okay though?
Yeah. I was just
moving
adjusting
around a lot.
I was just adjusting it. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be like as classic horror as it is. It's, you know, like we said, steadily paced.
That's what I said to you, like right after I saw it. Like, this is classic horror, and I don't just mean that in it's old as well. It's very influential.
Yeah,
and like,
I think it's probably like, I'm not gonna say it's the first because like I'm not that versed in like horror history.
Yeah, you can't say that for certain.
But I feel like it's probably one of the first that was like an independent
it feels very
horror film where people were like, oh, I just have this like sick idea, let's go out and like shoot it.
Just get a bunch of friends together. Like the crew is all just mates.
Like, let's just shoot a movie.
That's like how Friday the 13th came about, and Halloween kind of so like this idea that it was just, there was an idea, they put together a script, got the camera,
went and shot it,
and put it out, and they fucking changed horror cinema with it.
Casually.
Yeah.
So casual.
Friday night.
But I think the most significant scene or sequence to me, even though I think in the pacing it was, you know, a bit weird, was the dinner scene. Because, you know, again, we have the build up and up and down and up and down. So, like, I would have liked it a bit earlier, just maybe. The movie didn't need to be shorter, you know, but it was just that it went up and down, up and down.
I think the dinner scene would have been better placed the first time she went into the house. Rather than seeing, like, the two skeleton taxidermy corpses up in the, like, that room. I think it would have been better if she ran in and, like, someone came out and, like, grabbed her or something.
They're sitting at dinner, like, pardon?
Excuse me? Would you like to sit down?
Like, that could have been a good opportunity for the brother to show back up.
Come
out, grab her and tie her up or something like that.
I think that would have been more effective because, you know, we had the whole go around. And it's just a bit long.
Unintentionally hilarious at one point when the zombie granddad keeps dropping the hammer. I kind of laughed at that, and I'm not sure how I was supposed to.
No, it's 100. I think you're supposed to.
Okay.
Because they make this whole spiel like the best killer is your grandfather. He killed so many in a minute, and then like, let him have another kill. I let him handing him a hammer, and he can't even hold it.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming this guy, you know, is like 100 years old.
I mean, look at him.
Yeah, he's a fucking zombie.
Yeah, like he cannot move anything. So these very excited children, children, they're like 20 somethings, but you know, mentally, they just grab a hammer. This girl's screaming. Their head is being held over a bucket, and Grandpa just drops it to the ground like, try again, come on.
I was honestly expecting like the grip to like loosen on her, and I'd just be like, can you just get on?
Sorry, can we just do that again?
Gotta say, the whole zombie granddad part, that was very effective.
Oh yeah.
Like I thought he was genuinely dead.
So did I. There's a part where they, I think, show him as like a skeleton as well, and then suddenly he's not, and I'm like,
what?
Wait, what?
Like he just sort of wakes up from like the blood.
Yeah.
Wakes up in the blood, and I was like, oh god, he's alive.
Because it's like the brother goes upstairs, grabs a wheelchair, and he's like about to bring it down, and there's like this close up on the whoever's in the chair, and it's like an actual skull and like an actual skeleton. And he's like, come help me with Grandpa! And I'm like, sir, that's a skeleton. Yeah. And then he brings it downstairs, and when they're in the dining room, he's suddenly like the kind of very
very much a mask.
Yeah. And I'm like, the fuck just happened?
Also him sucking blood from her hand. That's creepy in a good way though. To the point where you're like, I am so uncomfortable, I love it. So well done.
I don't, but
I don't love it either, but you know, I get what you're saying.
I get what you mean. It's like, I love horror, but that like genuinely made me
I didn't like that.
Well done, but I hate you.
Dracula's the next one.
But yeah, like the reason I wanted, because I think I'm the one who was like, I want to watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre first, because I was expecting to be terrified by this, and then I was like, and then the day after I'll watch some Camp Dracula to kind of ease my mind. But this, like, I was fine afterwards. I just sat there. I was like, wow, it was actually really good.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Yeah. There's a lot of will he, won't he's, but I think it works.
Yeah.
It's a bit, sometimes you get a bit, just get on with it.
Yeah.
Do it already.
Yeah.
Get on with it.
Like, as she runs out of the house at the end, you can tell both Leatherface and the other kid, they can
catch
they
up.
can catch her.
Like,
you
the
can
guy's
tell they're
like-
holding back. Because
Like the brother is like right behind her and
he's
actually
right there.
grabbing her, and like at that point you're just like, just fucking do it already.
I was like, I wanted to just grab her and yank her down to the
Yeah.
ground. I was like, that would have been beautiful.
They always need the one to get away, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
like I get it. The trope, it's great, but I was like, oh come on, maybe just if you'd given her a bit more of a head start, we didn't have this like close,
Yeah.
like him following, and like you can just step it up, man.
I've got to admit, by the way, the my lasting thought, like right when the credits roll, I'm gonna be honest, is the truck. What happened to the truck driver? Is he okay?
He just ran the other way.
Ran the other way.
Oh, yeah.
Like
They just left him.
truck arrives, truck guy's like, get
You
it.
think he's gonna be the one to get her out of there, but then he
Yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah.
He just makes a run for it.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But like, where'd he go? He's gone.
Yeah, why didn't they stay in the truck?
Yeah, he could have
Because
driven away.
like Leatherface uses his chainsaw on the
Yeah.
truck and he doesn't do anything.
He doesn't open
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
so I was like, I would stay there.
Yeah.
Personally, would stay in the thing that he can't break.
yeah. Just drive away, man.
Yeah, just find out away.
Why'd you go out the other door? Why
Yeah.
are you running?
Yeah.
Why are you running?
Why are you running?
Also, the relationship between the father and his kids. Like, you can tell it's a very dysfunctional.
Oh, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The entire family structure they've got
Yeah.
there is
Yeah.
very much a twisted, fucked up version.
Yeah.
But the simplicity of the father telling Leatherface, "You broke the door." Like,
You broke that door.
you broke the. Why would you break the door?
You
It just
stupid bastard.
humanizes it in
Yeah,
a way where
yeah.
you're like, well, yeah, it is someone with his thoughts.
Yeah.
But he's
Yeah.
also killer chasing. Rah!
It kind of adds to the fucked upness of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's such a human thought.
Yeah.
Because humans are scary.
I think that's the genuine sort of message of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Texas humans are scary.
Texas.
America scary.
Yeah.
America scares me.
Southern America. The South, am I right?
Look, I want to go to America eventually, but there's parts of America I don't want to ever
Yeah.
go to.
No.
An interesting trope that didn't show up that I had on the bingo card, so to speak. No one fucked.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big trope for
we,
these
we were
Yeah.
hinting at it.
Yeah.
They were like,
but
let's
I don't
go
think,
to the
like,
Yeah.
pool,
There was
water.
it never happened like directly.
I was also
enough.
Yeah,
expecting
there was
it.
no
Yeah.
super forefront sexualization.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I sort of like. You come to expect with slasher
Yeah,
horror,
especially like Friday the 13th and stuff.
Yeah,
like
which
that. It's major.
now that I think about it, might have been the one to
I-
kick start that.
That's usually
Maybe.
the series I think of when I think of
Yeah.
that sort of trope.
Because it is a trope, and I think they hinted at it a little bit.
Yeah.
What I like about this movie, no sexualization of women.
No,
Yeah.
there's
None.
none at all.
None. And they're dressed like one's wearing a halter top,
Yeah.
full bareback. You know, you could have some very sexually suggestive shots of that.
There was one sort of shot when both of them are at like the sort of vending machine sort of thing.
Yeah.
At, like the gas station, there's like an undershot where you see like, but it's very much an ass shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
beyond
it's
that-
like it's not even very shorts. I
No.
think.
No, it's not
I
even
think
very
that's-
sexualized. It's
and-
just sort of.
An interesting thing about the film is that there's not really a lot of close-up shots.
No.
It's
No,
all
yeah.
very kind of wide.
Yeah, I noticed as well.
The only
yeah.
close-up shots I can think of is other than like that sort of ass shot was the sort of Leatherface first reveal.
But I'd say that the ass shot's still quite wide.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. I mean,
I don't. She was walking away from it, so you know it
Yeah.
starts with close up, but it moves out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more thinking like they were kind of rattling the vending machine. And you're
yeah, that's the one I was
Oh,
thinking
that
of.
one.
I know the one you're thinking of there when
And
she's walking towards the
Yeah.
house. Yeah, that's not really a close-up, and I wouldn't
No.
even call that an ass shot.
No.
Because it's so wide.
She got a dump.
But I think none of the characters were like portrayed in a way where you're like, wow, they're attractive. They were all just kids.
Yeah.
It's like, were they like a bit attractive. Like, if you'd see them IRL, you'd be like, they're a good-looking person.
I guess for like the 70s, maybe.
Yeah, 70s
Yeah.
maybe, but
Yeah.
They're just normal people who are just slightly more attractive than average, but they're not,
Yeah, I
Margot
guess.
Robbie.
Yeah.
Which is what we always see
It's
nowadays.
not some of the like actors and actresses that you see in other later horror films and slasher films in particular, where they're like
Models.
fucking supermodel
Yeah, it's like
caliber, who also
Megan
have
Fox
supermodel
type, yeah.
acting skills.
Yeah. God, any other comments?
I don't know. I had something, but I've completely lost it.
Oh. You?
No, I think I've said everything I need to say. Great film. I think it's better than I was expecting, because there's always like this, there's films that get canonized,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
so to speak, where it's
They're taking it as like gospel.
yeah, and
Fiction.
and Texas Chainsaw is one of them. So I had reservations of like, am I gonna go into this and like it's overhyped or it's not as good?
Yeah.
Overhype is
I
an
know what you
interesting
mean,
thing
yeah.
because we are talking about like a super low budget grimy
Yeah.
horror picture.
I get what you mean though, but like it's very, because it's so influential, and like even I had a bit of hype
Yeah.
going into this. But like, and I was scared that it was going to be a lot slower than it actually was.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about the pacing, but the pacing is very purposeful.
Yeah.
And not slow. But I was scared it was going to be just straight up like a slog.
Yeah,
At some points.
I think mine was just that because it was the genesis point of slasher fiction. Slasher fiction is not the right term. That's slash fiction I'm thinking of. Never mind. Slasher
That's something very
horror.
different.
Yeah, that's why I'm backpedaling. Slasher horror. I thought it was gonna be like a lot of classic cinema where it's like I've seen this done bigger and
Yeah.
better now.
Yeah, like it's very much a progenitor, but it's not
Yeah.
been perfected in any of the
It's like
places yet.
Citizen Kane is an okay movie, but everything that it's done
Yeah.
has been done better at this point. Hitchcock.
Everything to do with Hitchcock.
Everything to do with Hitchcock. Everything he's done has been done better. Sure,
Yeah.
he is a master of cinematography, but
I gotta bring up the fact now that we've brought up Hitchcock. This movie was inspired by, I think, the actual killer, like Ed Gein.
Ed Gein, yeah.
Yeah, who was also the killer that inspired Psycho.
Psycho.
They're two very different movies
Yeah.
with completely different plots.
And also,
but there's a connection there I always
Yeah.
find like a neat little horror fun
and
fact.
Buffalo Bill and the Silence of the Lambs, I
Yes,
think. Yeah.
yes.
Again, very different
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Texas Chainsaw. I think we
I've
Yeah.
seen all three of those now.
yeah.
That's funny.
So scores, I feel like, are a difficult one.
Yeah, it's hard
Yeah.
to score this
It's
one.
not something we have much precedence for Napcast, and I feel hard pressed to, because I don't really generally score movies most of the time. So it's
Yeah.
weird. I'm not sure how to. I don't know where my bar is in this.
Yeah, I mean, there's sort of like, I think for me, like what I personally enjoy out
Yeah.
of it
Yeah.
versus like how much of a good film it
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
If I had to score it, I'd probably give it. This feels kind of low given all the praise we've just been giving it, but like a 7.5. And
I get
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I was also gonna say 7.5.
Yeah.
I think if we're talking, from the perspective of a piece of cinema, I'm gonna give it an 8. But on an
that's
enjoyment
honest.
scale, I'm probably gonna give it a 6.5 or a 7.
That's fair.
Like, I do enjoy it. It's just, it is a
Yeah.
bit slow, but like we said, it's very purposeful. It's just there are some things that could have been done better, I think.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's Texas Chainsaw.
Wow, yeah.
Techie Chainsaw Massacre.
Sticky.
And then to follow that up, all our praise for this.
Oh, Dracula.
Yeah.
Bram Stoker's
Dracula.
Dracula, directed by Francis Ford Coppola.
Okay, first off, right off the bat, I did not expect this to be that fucking campy.
No.
No.
Over the top. Or
No.
romantic.
No.
No.
I was expecting more gothic horror.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really expecting, very gothic elements.
I
and,
say
you know,
that,
the clothing. Nope.
I also want to say, I don't think it's a bad movie.
It's not bad in that it's badly made.
No, it's very competently made. It's
Yeah.
just like,
It's just, Coppola, what the fuck were you on?
yeah.
Acid.
I don't even think that, like...
To me, I've got sort of, weirdly enough, I've got like sort of passive knowledge on the book just through like of osmosis online and stuff that like, I can tell that this very much feels like he's stuck up very closely to the book, but at the exact same time, he's added a lot of his own interpretations.
Yeah,
like,
you mentioned that a lot of the romancy stuff.
Yeah, like the
was-
entire reincarnated love like plotline thing, which is a big chunk of this movie,
Oh,
was
yeah.
invented by Coppola.
Which feels like an odd thing for Coppola of all
Yeah,
people to
I know.
add.
Yeah.
I can't remember and like if the original story of Dracula has a sort of romantic fling with Mina, but it's definitely not as stated as much as it is in this movie, and the whole reincarnated love thing, which is really weird.
Yeah.
And not fully. It's given a lot of focus, but it's not really explained.
No. It's just kind of dropped in. Because, like, as you mentioned, it feels like he's sticking to the books a little too closely.
Yeah, because like there's the whole narration is like stuff from like people's diaries and stuff, and that's because in the actual book that's how it's like written. Like it's all diary entries.
Yeah.
So like it's stuck very closely on that, but like he's obviously bloated it a lot with his
Yeah.
own
Yeah.
stuff,
Which he then drops in the second act.
Yeah.
Yep. He just, never mind.
Yeah.
Because it reminded me, because I read Frankenstein and talked to you guys about it exclusively, how it's really funny if you try to just imagine taking it literally. And that's what this film felt like. Like, he read the book and was like, oh, he's climbing the wall? I'm gonna make him climb the wall in the silliest way.
Yeah.
And just, that's what it looks like. It looks ridiculous, but there you go.
That and the part where he turns into a bunch of rats feels very much like poetic language he took very literally.
Yeah.
Again, like, you know, there's certain things we attribute to vampires and stuff nowadays that I think a bunch of rats is not the direction you go in that scene. It's a bunch of bats.
Yeah, like, I was expecting bats.
Yeah. Not
like-
just a whole conglomerate of rats. Just
A pile of rats.
The thing about vampire lore, to talk like I'm a fucking expert, because I guess I'm the Van Helsing now.
I guess.
In the actual like Dracula book, a lot of like the stuff like being burned by sunlight and stuff, and the main transformation being a bat wasn't really codified in that. It was more later like interpretations. Like vampires burning up in the sun was actually first like invented for Nosferatu, like in the 20s. It's not in the actual book. He's sort of weakened, but he still walks around.
That
and
does
stuff.
get mentioned in the narration.
Yeah,
I think it's one of Van Helsing's narrations.
Yeah, which I'm very much added in the movie, so Coppola can say that's why he's walking around during the day.
Yeah,
looking
but
like Johnny Depp.
Yeah, like,
I
it
think
really
that's
does.
fine to add things like that because we are so used to what we think we know
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
vampires.
Pop culture
if there's
vampire.
any rules that they traditionally won't have, you have to mention it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just gonna be weird. Because like, he's a vampire.
Oh come on, he's a vampire. Why is he
Yeah.
walking outside? So he can. Okay, he
He's
can do
okay.
it.
And like I
Guys, read the
get, you know, if
book.
you're wanting to take some of the traditional elements from the book, that's fine. But I also think some of the creative liberties that we've had post it are
have sort of improved it a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what wasn't wasn't something that he invented. Something he invented for the movie and didn't string closer to the book. Wolfman. He
Yeah.
becomes a wolf. He doesn't become a wolfman.
I
So
hate
there
that
are-
scene so much.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
I'm gonna be honest. Like I said, haven't read the book. I can't confirm if that's not there, but I have a feeling it's probably not.
It feels like it's
that.
from a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me.
It definitely
a
does.
story you'd find on certain websites.
For sure. But the amount of forms this Dracula
Yeah,
can
he just
take,
got a bunch of different
yeah.
shapes.
At some, I wanted to keep count, but I think if I have to guess, 6 or 7.
I was gonna say
for
7.
sure.
That's too many. Because
can-
every time I see him, I'm like, is it him? Is that him?
Yeah.
You have Gary Oldman, you have Gary Youngman, you have Gary Wolfman, you have Gary Batman, and you have Gary Mistman.
Yeah, there's also the beginning
Gary
of the movie
Prince.
where I'm.
Prince Man.
Prince Man.
There's also the beginning of the movie where I'm not even sure if he's played by Gary Oldman or not.
Oh yeah, because he's like that sort of Robert
Vlad the
Baratheon looking
Impaler
ass.
Yeah.
looking fucker.
Yeah.
I like the costume design on that.
Oh,
armor.
that's
yeah.
a great like.
That's
was
like the
so
part
camp.
everybody
I loved
thinks
it.
about.
Yeah.
Which I didn't realize was only going to be in the opening scene and
Yeah.
never brought
Yeah.
up again.
No, exactly.
I will say that whole opening scene is very much also an invention of like Coppola. Like in the book, it is stated like, oh, Dracula, he is like Vlad the Impaler,
Yeah.
but the whole opening battle sequence is very much the movie.
See,
Yeah.
that's the problem. That's the problem with the film opening with that. You get a very different impression of what the film is going to be.
Yes.
Because this sets it up as almost like a 1950s, 60s like epic
Yeah.
film.
The first 20 minutes feels very much like a remake of the old Universal classic monster one.
It has a feel of like Lawrence of Arabia, Cleopatra, all of these grand, sure, the ones that tanked the studios, but
Yeah, because they were that fucking big.
yeah,
but-
Yeah.
but these grand, you know, there's sets, there's clearly sound stages, but it reflects a certain aesthetic that works. It's all so really well constructed, and then we jump to London in the whatever 19th century, blah blah blah,
1897, I think.
1897,
With our
and-
favorite Brit,
yeah,
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves.
Oh god, I'm glad he's not in this movie as
yeah,
much as I
yeah.
thought he
No.
was gonna be.
He's
That
one
accent.
pretty boy,
Yeah.
but ooh.
The performance itself is meh, but the accent is
Yeah.
fucking dire.
Yeah.
And you know, we're led through that scene where he then goes to Transylvania, meets Dracula in his castle, and all of that is really well done. It's all really well set
Best
up.
part of the movie.
Best part of the movie, and suddenly it just totally shifts into something else.
Yeah, because he
Yeah.
drops like the picture of like Mina, and then suddenly that specific moment when Dracula looks at it is when the movie becomes something entirely
Yup.
different.
Yeah, he's like, mine?
Yeah.
He's like, who's that? It's my fiance. No, it's not.
Our fiance.
and then he just goes to London. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I like the whole, he's bringing earth, you know, dirt to this house. I love that part.
I
I'm
mean,
like,
that again, that's from the
realism.
book.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I love that as a little just thing. It's like, it's not as easy as you think
Yeah,
it's gonna
it's
be.
got to be his own soil that he fucking died in.
And then he's just like, hi, lady, I am a prince. I do not care.
yeah.
Yeah, she's
But I'm
very
a
much.
prince.
And that's the part where I started to zone the fuck out.
Yeah, that's when it gets
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah, because it's like a 40-minute sequence of them pissing around in London.
Yes.
Yes.
It adds nothing to the movie.
I
gotta
don't
say-
think their chemistry is good enough to carry it.
No,
because
it's not.
Winona Ryder and Keanu Reeves just work.
Yeah,
that just
this is the
works.
thing.
Yes.
This is why they're cast together in things, because they have a chemistry.
Exactly.
And they
you
work
believe that?
so well together that I could not help me like, no, get back.
Yeah,
No,
like,
I
the
don't
ent-
want you with Drac. I don't care. Get Keanu.
It's
get
like
Keanu
the entire
back in
movie
here.
wants you to root for her to cheat on him and
Yeah.
like get like dump
yeah.
him and go for like the vampire lord, and I'm like, no,
No.
this is so much shittier.
Did you see how in love they were?
Yeah, or Jonathan.
And as much as I like Gary Oldman, I really feel like this is a big miscast.
I'm gonna be honest. With what he's got to work with, he's doing his best.
Yes.
Oh, for sure, but I really don't think had the script been any better,
Nah.
that what they're doing with that character, I don't think Gary Oldman's the right person to
Nah.
be playing that.
Yeah.
And I mentioned that he looks like Johnny Depp, but my fucking god, if
He
Johnny
does.
Depp had been playing him,
Would have been so much better.
This was
Yeah.
was this around the time where like Johnny Depp was in like Sleepy Hollow or something?
I mean, wasn't
That
he
was a
also-
sort of similar-ish movie.
Yeah, wasn't
This-
he dating
in terms of-
Winona Ryder?
I believe so. This would have been 6 years after Nightmare on Elm Street. So it would have been Sleepy Hollow, and then I think the year after would have been
Scissorhands.
Scissorhands.
Scissorhands,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, if Johnny Depp was Dracula in this movie, I feel like that would have been better.
Yeah.
Gary Oldman, I hate to say, he's not attractive enough.
They
the
do-
character
they do their
design,
best.
They do
Yeah.
their best, but even as Willy Wonka looking fella, he's not pulling it off enough
No,
for us as an
no.
audience to be like, yeah, go with him. Go with him.
I
He's pretty.
think it's because it's like a sort of younger version of Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
Whereas I think
Maybe.
if slightly older Gary Oldman was, you know, done up for this movie, like he is in the sort
Yeah.
of romantic sequences
Yeah.
of this movie, it would have worked better.
I think it would have worked a lot better if this was just a movie without the romance plot. And he
Oh,
was
I mean,
Yeah,
for
no,
sure.
Classic
Yeah,
evil
like
Dracula. there's mismatch.
Yeah, there's certainly things that need gutted out of that movie.
Absolutely.
The fact that it's 2 hours and 7 minutes long
Didn't need to be that long.
did
No.
not need to be that
Didn't
long.
need to be like an epic.
No.
movie.
Yeah.
It could have been an epic
Oh, it
movie
could have.
had they
Absolutely.
not done the romance
Yeah.
stuff, I think.
They wanted to
Yeah.
make it a romance movie as well, and I don't think
Yeah.
it works in the film's favor.
There's also a massive, like, I don't know how to describe it, but that thing where, you know, a director has a filmography
He has a style.
Yes.
and you come off the back of all of those knowing their style. I've seen Apocalypse Now, I've seen Godfather, and I've seen other Coppola films. So you have an expectation of what a Coppola film is, and then you come into this and you get the Coppola movie for the first 25, 30 minutes,
Again, best part of the movie.
best part of the
Yeah.
movie, and then you get something wildly different.
It's like he was forced to make this into a romance because that was expected by the studio at the time,
Maybe.
and it was the only way to get it funded.
Yeah.
Could be. There was also like the B plot. I don't want to call it B because it's not necessarily as
Which
Lucy.
Yeah, there's some Lucy.
Lucy.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
talk about Lucy.
How do we even begin to unpack?
Horny vampire ass.
I will
bitch.
say,
she was horny before she was a vampire.
one of the reasons I feel like this movie sticks way too closely to the book and also not at the same time is that it feels like it was written by a very repressed Victorian guy.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Like you can feel that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, especially in her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of titty.
It's the fact that there's one
Yeah.
hand wavy line of narration where Mina's like, she's a virgin. And I'm like,
I
I don't think so.
well,
Are you sure? I think she lied to you.
more importantly, why is that important?
Victorian era.
I mean, you have the whole purity culture thing back then, I suppose.
Yeah, especially in the upper class.
Yeah.
I guess, but like,
It
did
was-
that need to be there?
No.
No.
Granted, did Lucy's whole thing need to be there?
Did
no.
Lucy need to be there?
Did Lucy need to be there? No.
What I did really like was Van Helsing's relationship with Lucy, where he was like, yeah, vampire, and then he's like, oh, she's dead. Let me chop off her head. And they're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what?
Anthony Hopkins carries the second half
Yeah,
of
he's
this
loving
movie.
every
He
single
does.
second
He
of this.
grabbed it and put that on his fucking shoulders. Like,
100%.
Jesus.
Because he does not give a shit that this is a romance
No.
movie. He came here for Dracula. He's
The-
going to be in
Yeah.
The
Dracula.
fact that he disappears for most of the film and then just shows up with one piece of narration goes, I'm Van Helsing, by the way. And I was like, I'm sorry, you're
And then
rude.
suddenly I came into this.
Sold! Let's go!
And then suddenly I came into this fucking story.
And you might be getting who's that? Well, it is me.
I love the part where they go into like Lucy's grave and whatever, and like the fiance is like, you're just gonna dig her up, and he's gonna be like, well, if she's a vampire, we're killing a vampire, and if she's dead, what's the harm?
I quoted that like directly
Yeah.
to you the other night. Because it's
He's-
such a
he's-
funny interaction.
That to me, peak Dutchness. It's like the truth. It's harsh, but yep, you get it, Van Helsing. You get it.
I also love that like he's very much shown to be a very scientifically minded doctor man, but then he's talking like he's talking to like his student Richard E. Grant. I don't know his name. I'm calling him Richard E. Grant.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And he's like, think about this scientifically, and then Richard E. Grant. So some guy just came in, flew in, sucked her blood, and then flew away again. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, why not?
And I'm just like, this is a man of science.
No, to quote him directly, he says, sure, why not? And I'm like, no, you can't
Because
just
it's-
Jim Carrey this.
My guy, this goes against all of your fucking teachings. How are you able to comprehend this so easily?
And before they even go to dig her up, they're at her funeral. She's there in the casket, and he just kind of ushers over his student, and he goes, he's like, oh, I need you to bring me some
Stuff.
post-mortem tools. And he's like, an
What?
autopsy? And he's like, no, I just want to cut her head off and
Yeah.
take her heart out.
Oh,
And the guy just walks away, and I'm like, yeah.
Makes sense.
fuck it, I'm not
Sounds to
getting
me.
paid enough today.
And then when they're
Blunt honesty.
yeah, and then when they're in the tomb about to dig her up, he's just like, if she's dead, we can't harm her. But if she's not dead, then
We're killing a vampire.
Yeah.
We'll make sure.
Yeah. Worst
It's a
case
win-win.
scenario, we kill a vampire. Best case scenario, we kill a dead woman, but no effect.
And then Ashlyn, if she was in pain, he was like, yeah, she was in great pain. Then we cut her head off and drove a stake through her heart. Now she's at peace.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I mean, how do you respond to that as like the fiance?
Yes.
It's like, oh.
So, as a Dutch person, good representation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like the best representation
Yeah.
I've ever
Yeah.
seen.
The best part about
Seal of approval.
that part of like, was she in pain? They're having dinner.
Yeah.
This is Mina asking, and he's just eating, and he's just like, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
she was in great pain.
Oh, absolutely. Agony. Pure agony.
Sure. That makes
Why
you feel
not?
better.
Oh,
I love that they're in like a bar, by the way. He's like
Yeah.
openly saying all this stuff, and Jonathan's like, dude, shh, there's families here.
And then we go on a hunting spree for
Yeah.
Dracula.
Hunting
Yeah.
vampires with the boys.
And again, we end up in yet another different movie. Entirely.
Yeah.
Every act of this movie is completely different.
Yeah, it's
from
it's the climax of the movie we should have gotten.
Yeah.
Except for the
Yeah.
romance part, like right at the end.
Yeah,
Oh, no, screw
I'd
that,
say
yeah.
that the last act is like really dragged out though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have them going to Carfax Abbey,
Yeah.
which sounds like it's out of fucking Dark Souls.
Probably a
Burning
real place.
Probably. They go and try and find him. He's not there again. He goes to fuck
Where
Mina.
Dracula?
Let's burn all this dirt.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we chase him to Transylvania.
With the Indiana Jones sort of crossfade with the
Yeah.
train
Yeah.
and the map.
We suddenly end up in Stardust Crusaders for a bit.
With a Jonathan.
With a
Which makes this a
Jonathan.
JoJo.
Yeah, and technically Dracula is Dio, so you know.
Yeah, exactly. Vampire.
And it lasts so long.
It does.
It really does.
I have to say, my boy the Texan deserved better.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't care much about
How
the Texan.
dare you?
He's
He
the
he
random
showed up,
American.
rifle in hand. I was like, sup?
Look, yeah, he's the American, but past that, I stopped caring.
No, exactly. That's all he's good for. Carrying a gun. And boy, does he carry it.
Wow.
Does he even really?
No.
Does he get a shot off?
Well.
Yeah.
That's not what I mean, you fucker. Even then, I don't think he does.
He gets introduced by being asked, "You got something big to show
Yes.
me?" And he just
It's a
pulls out a
dagger.
machete. Which I have to say, best introduction in the movie.
Yeah.
Better than Van Helsing's introduction. Because we get both a feel for who Lucius
Yeah.
and this guy.
Yeah.
Get a
Who's
feel
just-
alright.
Sean. We're not gonna talk. Taking a moment's time again.
You realise that was on a completely different show now, and it was probably weeks ago.
Yeah.
No, it'll be like a week before or a week
Oh,
after.
perfect.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
But I think the end. They fight in the castle. Ugh.
Yeah.
The castle driveway.
Yeah, the courtyard.
I prefer driveway.
No.
Just
to go up and that, I love
American
the part where like the gate closes, Mina's behind it, and she just goes up the steps.
Just go around it.
Yeah, like you think she's just gonna be trapped there, just sort of stuck while they're killing her. And like, no, she just goes up the stairs.
Yeah, like what kind of fucking protection is this gate?
Like, what was the
offering?
point of the fucking dramatics? Like, fucking gate drop.
Oh no! Oh, there's a door. Let me
There's
just-
a staircase right there that takes you right outside. Oh, that's
This
convenient.
man directed Apocalypse Now.
So okay,
Multiple times.
Yeah, well.
Miss Ryder, I just need you. The gates are closing. You can't get to him anymore. Just give me that. Okay. See in action. Perfect. Okay, now if you could just go around.
Just go upstairs.
Go around. Like no, like over there. No, you can pass there. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
there's
it's
just a
fully
set
open.
of steps. You go
Set of
up.
steps up. It's very clear. Just get it. Yep.
There's
Right
a
there.
pressure plate. The gates will open. Don't worry, they'll close automatically behind
Yeah. If you just press that button, you can go through for a few seconds.
Yeah. And at the end, Keanu doesn't give a shit about her anymore.
you. No.
Honestly, fair.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's his redemption.
Yeah.
Because
I
fuck
suppose.
Mina. Mina's a
Yeah.
bitch.
I hate that like they're about to like behead him, and Van Helsing is just like,
Nah.
nah,
Give him time.
we're done. This is her
No,
job
I
now.
thought it
and
was
I'm
Jonathan.
Like, is it Jonathan?
I thought it was
No,
Jonathan that was like, our part's done now. Which is even
I
funnier
think
because he's got no authority in that group.
I don't know. He says something.
Yeah,
but I don't know
think
if
Jonathan
it's that.
says something, but I think it's Van Helsing that says
I
our
might have
job
got
is
mixed
done
up.
here. It's
Yeah.
it's her work has just begun. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking
What do you
about?
I do want to
mean?
state the part right before that when like Mina's holding like the gun to like Jonathan and she's like, when it was my time, would you do the same for me? I was expecting Jonathan to go, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a fucking vampire.
I mean, to be fair,
Yeah.
he's very much confronted with that question very quickly. And you're just like,
Probably.
So, Jonathan escaped from the castle,
Yeah.
ended up in a convent,
Yeah.
was so ill he turned grey within a matter of months.
No, hold on. You gotta remember he was tortured for like what, weeks by vampire
oh
women.
yeah. He had vampire woman one.
You know.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
are they there? I don't know. Sex scenes.
Still,
And then he
he
falls
turned
from
grey.
the roof. He falls
span
from the
of
roof into a river.
Yeah.
Survives this.
Yeah, why couldn't the
And does
Elisabetta
the
survive
fucking
this?
knock of being at the door, like directly up against it, and just dun. I'm watching that. And I'm like, I have seen Keanu do this in another movie, but I
Yeah.
can't fucking place where.
Probably John Wick.
Yeah.
It is. It's John Wick.
John Wick.
But I
Right,
gotta,
he's a better character.
Does this man know how doors work? Does he just walk up to all of them and just press himself up against it and then?
That's just what Keanu does.
every director's like, no, let him have it. Let him have it.
I think he might do it in the Matrix at some point too.
I'll have to watch The Matrix to
Yeah.
confirm.
But it is such a roller coaster of a movie, and I'm happy she kills him in the end. But again,
I have mixed feelings.
I don't like
on
that it's out of
ending.
love. She should have just been like,
no,
yeah,
exactly, exactly.
I have so many mixed feelings about that end sequence because it's like it's inferred that he becomes human through the grace of God again because he now loves her.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
she stabs him through the heart and it's like, okay, we're done. Thank God.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's just this like long pause
Yeah.
and she pulls the sword out and
Yeah, that's too much.
beheads him.
I think it could have been a nice moment, stake in
Yeah.
hard, walk away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cut to like the sort of like painting on the roof.
Yeah.
I could have done without the cut to mural on the roof. I fucking hate that so much.
No,
I don't
I
like
want the
it, but
mural.
I get that it's supposed to be a poetic sort of bullshit thing.
Oh, for sure. I still hate it.
Yeah, I hate it too, but I get what they're going for. But the fucking bit campy behead
Yeah.
scene ruins the whole tension.
Yeah.
Also,
But the vibes are fun.
And then we have Annie Lennox singing over the credits as well,
oh yeah.
which I don't think either of you stuck around for.
I stuck
Nah,
out
I
for
just
30
want it to be
seconds
done.
and was like,
I think
I'm
it
done
takes
here.
like a minute or two before her song kicks in. I just was on my phone letting them roll and I just suddenly heard her voice and I'm like,
Hello?
no.
I just want it to be done and maybe play Castlevania.
Yeah. But it's like it's like a romantic
Yeah.
song.
It's like love song for a vampire.
It's called Love
Yeah.
Song for a Vampire.
Great title, by the way.
I don't know if we as a society just make vampires attractive, but like I just Gary Oldman was not pulling that off,
No. I mean,
especially in his old get
butt
up.
hair.
Yeah, they gave him butt hair.
I don't get his whole appearance when he first shows up as like old Dracula.
Count Dracula.
Camp. Let's call him camp.
Camp
Campula.
Dracula.
And then suddenly we just cut to him in London looking like fucking Willy Wonka.
Yeah, I was like, oh, he's trying to blend in, but why doesn't he just always look like that?
Because I
that's
don't
better.
know if it's like a tone setter, but it doesn't follow that tone
Yeah.
after that. So
No, I just his Campula form needed to be less
Campula.
that. Whichever the gold dress was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't back down on that, but it did not make him seem well.
yeah, we also set up like so many little things. Like I'd say the most subtle part of the movie is that like first act because we have Dracula coming in and being very
Dracula.
Dracula.
not Dracula. It's the scene where Keanu's shaving, and like Dracula just kind of comes up behind him and takes the razor and he's
And
like,
licks it.
Does the lick.
he does the lick, but then he starts like shaving Keanu, and I'm like, bro, what the fuck?
and
And then he sees the cross and it like reacts to it, and I'm like, okay, this is
cheesy, but okay.
and it's cheesy, but it's an interesting
Yeah.
setup. And then there is absolutely no indication that he has any aversion to religious
No.
objects after that.
No.
In fact, he sets a cross on fire by looking at it
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
during the confrontation with Van Helsing. So it's weird. Like, I feel like the film conflicts with itself sometimes.
yeah, I
Yeah.
was gonna actually follow on from that with like, we're supposed to feel on some level sympathy for Dracula.
I don't.
No,
I know,
exactly,
that's the
but
thing,
we're
though.
supposed
We're
to
supposed
as an
to.
audience, but we
like
don't
none
get
of us
to.
do, but we don't because you know gotta remember like I remember specifically at the ending when like it's the whole tragic sort of
Yeah.
like stabbing through the heart for like love sort of thing, but like all I could think of was about an hour ago I saw this guy like sacrifice a baby to like his 3 sort of concubine
Yeah.
women.
Yeah.
So I can't sympathize with this guy because you've made him evil as fuck.
I don't even know if evil is the word, but like also I don't know who I'm supposed to root for in the film
No,
at
but-
all.
Yeah, but I know I'm supposed to root for someone, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I was rooting for Jonathan. I was very disappointed.
I just feel like Jonathan
Renfield.
is.
We were supposed to
I would
go
want
for
to root for
Renfield.
Jonathan, but he's barely in the movie.
Yeah.
I know.
He only
What,
has
you
like
know,
12 minutes of screen time.
I don't think I
overall.
could have put up with 2 hours of Keanu Reeves talking like that, but
What are you talking?
oh, shut
It's
the
a
fuck
blessing and a curse.
up.
Yeah, Renfield was fun. He was
very
just
good.
kind of there.
Renfield
Yeah.
was
He
in
was
this
just
movie.
in the prison.
Master!
I eat bugs.
I love the whole part where he's like, "Get away from here! Master, you promised me eternal life, but you're giving it to her. Fuck you!" And then Miss Dracula comes, and I forgot he turned into Mist at one point. By the way,
Yeah.
And he's just like,
That fucking
"Renfield,
Joker ass mess.
Yeah.
Renfield, you betrayed me." And Renfield's like, "No, I didn't betray you.
I am so
never
confused
betrayed
by
you."
the accusation of betrayal because I'm like, what has he actually done in this movie?
He told Mina to go away.
Yeah,
That's betrayal.
that's it.
That's the betrayal.
Because I'm like watching it and I'm like, what has he done to betray Dracula? Because like he hasn't told them
He left.
where he is because Jonathan knew
Yeah.
where Dracula was. He knew he was in Carfax Abbey. So it
He
wasn't
just bought it.
Renfield that did it. What
No.
has he done to betray him? And
He
I'm
told Mina, get away from him.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Fuck it, I guess.
Let me eat my bugs.
Look, I think it's very safe to say that Dracula in this movie is very much a drama queen.
Yeah.
God, tell me about it.
Oh.
You see the way he dresses.
Yeah.
Over the top doesn't even begin.
Also, blue sunglasses.
It's a choice.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a choice,
Very-
yeah.
It was giving steampunk for me. I don't know.
Would
Yeah,
you have been
same.
able to get blue lenses at that point?
Possibly,
And
if you're rich
Victoria-
enough.
He's
I don't know.
motherfucking Dracula, dude.
Vampire magic bullshit.
He's got vampire money.
Vampire magic.
Can he do the mind trick things? You think, or
Mind trick thing?
Mind trick things?
it's a vampire trope, one of the sometimes used ones, where they can just basically do a Jedi thing. Where it's like, you want to give me
I thought
money.
you did that
Oh.
multiple times throughout this movie.
He kind of does. It's hinted that he has like Mina under, not
Yeah.
Mina,
Yeah.
Lucy under his influence.
Oh, yeah,
Honestly, I thought throughout most of this movie, or at least in the first half, that like Mina's confessions of love was because she was under his influence. But like
Yeah.
by the end of the movie, they're like, nah, she's actually fully into this.
She's way too into what's happening
yeah.
at that end part.
Yeah.
So she looks too young for him. Even if he's a vampire,
Well,
I
I
don't
mean,
care.
he's like hundreds of years old.
Yeah, no, I don't want to pull the
Bruh.
anime example, but still, she's like a child.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think that's an actual intentional thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think, is she like,
20?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I think 20, yeah.
I think they mentioned 20 or 21, and they're
Yeah.
like, we're basically old.
Yeah, like right at the beginning,
Yeah.
they're like, we're 20, we're practically hags.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Victorian era.
Yeah, I mean, they were only like 10, 15 years away from...
Death.
I know.
yeah.
Good on him.
This fucking movie, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would see myself rewatching it just for the vibes. Because I like
I would
the
put
vibes.
it on mute.
I'd put it on in the background.
Yeah.
And even then, I'd put on another Dracula movie before this one.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'd put on the Bela Lugosi
Bela
one,
Lugosi. Why is he doing a shit Bela Lugosi impression?
because he's Dracula.
I'm also now, like I mentioned, I wasn't expecting them to directly quote the famous part of the original Dracula. I'm now pissed off that they did it.
Yeah. Again, there's a lot of this movie where I feel like I'm so disappointed because it could have been much better.
Yeah.
If they had played it like a straight gothic horror instead of this bullshit romance.
Because again, we have the listen to them, children of the night.
Yeah.
What music? And the wolves never come up again.
No.
He becomes Wolfman.
And he
Can we
does
stop?
things.
It conjures the image, and I hate it so much.
Joel, you can't escape it, man.
Imagine Mina. Gosh, you had to watch that happen.
Fuck me.
Yeah, real life.
Continue, Sean. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is with today? What is today?
Spooky month.
Spooky. You don't want to remember the things you've seen in this movie.
Spooky nights.
Spooky nights.
Also, I think it's worth mentioning that directly before we recorded these episodes, we experienced like the warmest weather of the year, which made
No, don't pull that bullshit
no,
on
I'm
this
calling
conversation.
this for a reason. It made getting in the mood for any of this extremely difficult.
Oh yeah.
That's true.
I was watching specifically Dracula, which I had to like full on pull out
Yeah.
like my blackout blinds because I was
Yeah.
like, it doesn't feel right that there's sunlight in my room
Yeah,
while
yeah.
watching. Yeah, exactly. That's what it was like. It's like this isn't right. It's like 3 in like the afternoon outside. I need to go goth.
Your parents just walk in your room. Get out. Get out.
Go away. It's the red eye contact.
Okay. Do we have scores for that? Because
I give it 1 Wolfman out of 10. Nah.
one wolf scene that I don't want
Yeah.
to remember.
That's some fan fiction shit right there.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's
big time.
someone saw that and was like, "Now imagine if that's my favorite character right there."
It is someone's fetish. That's the thing that bugs
Yeah.
me.
Is this the Omegaverse?
No, shut the fuck up.
Oh my god,
What curse have you brought upon this land?
I give it a 6.
I think 6 is fair. Yeah.
Yes.
That's weird. I feel weird agreeing with you on a score
Yeah, I know.
for once.
Because it's just like, it's not good enough for me to go over 6, like
Yeah.
quality wise.
Yeah.
But the vibes are nice.
That's it, yeah. I feel weird that like the vibes are great, but I can't bring to mind how the soundtrack sounds.
No, exactly. It sounds.
Which I think's also a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a film like this could have like a really strong
especially
soundtrack.
within like Transylvania, you can do so much with like organs.
Yeah.
Go all
And, missed
in.
potential.
Yeah.
My ending statement for this movie is that it's not a bad film, but it could have been so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not badly made, but I think that the script could have done with like 4 or 5 passovers.
Yeah.
I think just complete reworking of like the way
Yeah.
the story
Like-
is being told.
Even the aesthetics, like, you know, the aesthetic they had within Renfield's prison cell, where it was all like kind of weird looking stuff.
Yeah, very
But it was like
almost like
muted
expressionist.
tones. I think that would have been nicer than having like this flashing red costumes. Just have
Yeah.
everything very muted, like have more like dark Bordeaux colors.
I think the Count Dracula stuff could have been reworked to look
Go more
less
for like
weird.
a Hammer horror tone.
Yeah.
Because like I think once you get past the opening scene, that's very much meant to evoke, you know, the style of grand epics.
Yeah. I mean that castle design.
Oh yeah.
I like the
Boy who
castle
sits.
design.
And we have the funky armor. Like that all suits that because
Yeah.
we're looking at a period that half exists, half doesn't.
Yeah, it's very much a fictionalized
Yeah.
version of history.
And so then when we get to, you know, Victorian England, I think having it rein back for older Dracula would have worked a bit better than fucking papal red.
Yeah, full white bunny ears,
Yeah.
basically. It was just,
Ashy looking motherfucker.
it contrasts too much with what
Yeah.
you want to achieve as a story.
I like what they did with the shadows. And
Oh, the
those scenes.
shadows, that was fun playing
Again,
around with that.
never fucking came up past the first act.
No.
It's again that first act is a completely different movie.
Yeah.
The amount of times you have like a fade of like Dracula's eyes in the sky, though.
Yeah.
That was a bit overdone.
I mean,
I would
the,
have liked
the first
more
time
of
it
the
happened, I
shadow.
thought it was, that's kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah.
The more times it happened, I was like, okay, I don't like this anymore.
Like I messaged you and was like, this film has great vibes from the start and it has some amazing editing because of the way it was like overlaying
Oh yeah,
things.
some of the overlays were beautifully done. Like the transitions within
Yeah.
this,
and
amazing.
then
Absolutely.
they proceeded to spend the rest of the movie beating the absolute shit out of that style.
yeah.
Yeah, they're
So-
like, Dracula is watching over you. I was like, can we not have big guy in the sky, please.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I mentioned this to you. I've just remembered this now, so I'm bringing this up. My favorite cut in this movie is just like I can't remember if it's in like the sort of bar scene where Van Helsing, like Jonathan and Mina are like talking, but like there's a part where Van Helsing describes Dracula as like he's a dark creature of the night.
Oh, and you just see him in the box.
Yeah, and it just it cuts to him, like it almost zooms into his coffin, and he's just like,
He's just sitting in the dirt, like a
there's
little
blood coming
dirt
from his mouth,
ball.
like
He
he's
is.
just had a feast. He's
Oh
like
yeah,
a
because
food
he's
coma.
talking about like him
Draining,
feeding
like,
on
Lucy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he's just come back from like a food coma, and he's like, I don't
You
know.
know,
It's
but-
caught. It's like he's
jeans
almost thinking, well,
unbuttoned.
that's not a nice description.
Yeah,
of me.
I looked at that and went.
Same.
Yeah, I just kind of was like mid.
No, I thought my instant thought, and I mentioned this to you. It's the fucking cat dinner table meme.
Yeah,
Like Van
that's
Helsing's the guy
right.
screaming,
Yeah.
and Dracula's at the table like,
Just, me after going out to eat, you lay in bed, unbutton your jeans, you're just,
Me after doing anything.
let me return to my box of dirt,
Yeah.
please.
Like that.
No, that was a fucking dinner reservation right there.
Now that again, Sean, doesn't sound great.
I don't care anymore. You're gonna keep doing this for anything I say at this point, I think.
So that was our
I'm done with these movies.
Our
I'm never.
dynamic is so weird.
Oh,
You two are
God.
like fucking siblings sometimes.
No.
Disgusting.
No.
You can tell I'm the only child.
What's it like?
Yeah.
Peaceful.
It sounds disgustingly boring.
No,
Who do you
I
fight with?
Yeah.
myself. It's called depression.
Yeah, that's the whole problem we're not going into. Can we end this fucking episode? God help us for the next episode when we actually have to talk about like shit that we brought. This has been an episode of Napcast. I think we're done here. You can click on the other like episodes that are coming up here. You can hit that bell if you want. Goodbye.
Bye.